Hey all, Lawrence from Express Unity, and today I wanted to make a bit of a different video. What I wanted to do today is basically show the games that I currently have released on Steam, and I wanted to give basically my thought process behind each game, how it came about, the difficulties and challenges of releasing them, and just a little bit of the backstory to why I created the games. So basically, to begin with, we have my very first ever game that I felt comfortable releasing. I've made hundreds of games before this one, and some were probably way better than this, by far. But basically, when I first discovered Greenlight and how to release a game onto Steam, I basically wanted to see how it all worked. So what I ended up doing is making this game called Escape This. As you can see, it's very basic. I literally didn't use any assets other than the default cube that Unity has to offer. So very basic in the looks. The code, a little bit different. Though, funny thing is, nobody seems to know that this game has a map editor in it, so the complexity of it doesn't seem to persuade all the way to other people playing the game. So, basically, I made this game in probably a little under a week. Maybe maximum time a week. I made the main game in about a week. Then what I ended up doing is posting it on Greenlight, so that back then you had to pay a $100 fee, and you could basically publish as many games onto Greenlight as you wanted. Then what would happen is users would vote your game either yes or no, and depending on the vote, over time, you would be selected to actually release your game via Steam and start making money off it. If your game is one that you wanted to charge for, or if it was free to play, didn't matter. So that's what I did. Now, I never intended to release this game. All I wanted to do is see how the panel for Greenlight worked. I wanted to see all the statistics, how it all worked, how the voting system was handled, how ranking worked. So I released the game, and I was getting a few votes, more than I thought I was gonna get. I was getting some no's, I was getting some yeses. But anyway, I left the game on Greenlight for maybe 3 weeks. And when after the 3 weeks passed, I was like, okay, it's probably time to remove the game. And literally the day I woke up to remove the game from Greenlight, because I knew nothing was ever going to happen with it, it ended up getting greenlit. I think it was like the top 20th or 30th on Greenlight, and it ended up getting greenlit. And I was like, well, that's actually kind of cool. Yes, I made the game in a week, but that's kind of cool. So I just went with the process. I put it on Steam, and I started selling it for about $1. However, I wasn't really happy with the game. I spent 1 week on it, yes, but the game used to look like this. So I haven't actually edited the trailer for this or changed it. This is how the game looked like. And it's alright, but because it was block-based and there was no excuse me, there was no combining with any kind of meshes, the line renderer I had working would actually separate out all the cubes, and it ended up making this really glitchy effect that a lot of people were complaining about. So what I ended up doing is completely removing the edge or line renderer. I can't remember what I used. It was back before the post-processing stack was even released, I believe. It was with the old post-processing systems. And then basically I did this. I just made the game glow a lot. A lot of glow. And I thought that was much better. You couldn't see any cracks in the maps. It was good. And with the loading of the level, so for example, if I can find one, let's see, okay, this one here, oops, try and go back. Alright, you see how the level loaded line by line? That was on purpose. I actually spawned the level in a coroutine. I didn't even need to do that. I could have just made a loading screen and made the map spawn instantly, which is what I actually ended up doing for the beta, because I ended up remaking this entire game, but then I got really busy and I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't work on it. So you can still actually play the beta. The code for it is probably still somewhere in the discussion for the game. But yeah, basically a lot of people complained that the levels took too long to load. And I thought it was cool that you could see the level loading in basically line by line. A lot of people took that for just the level being slow at loading and couldn't handle much. That wasn't really true. I did it on purpose to make it look cool, but I guess I was the only one that thought that it looked cool at the time. So basically the experience with this game is I got to learn, this was my stepping stone for Steam. I got to learn basically almost everything to know with publishing a game with Escape This. Now I've got a lot of mixed reviews on this. I've got people saying it's crap. I've got people saying it's a very simple like school assignment, stuff like that. I didn't listen to any of those people. The only people I listened to were the people that gave criticism that I could use for the game. Things like the controls are stiff and they need to be fixed. You should do this, you should do that. Things that would actually help improve the game. If you release a game to the market and you get people saying that it's bad, it shouldn't be released, they should remove this game, you should never become a game developer, just don't listen to those people. They have no idea what they're talking about. At the end of the day, they're probably just the user as well, and they haven't even touched a game engine. Yes, some of them could be a game developer that is just really freaking mean, but just don't listen to any of them. Only listen to the constructive criticism. For example, when I first released the game, there was absolutely no health bar. So these red blocks here, basically anything that was red in this game would kill you. You would have to start the level over. And when the game first launched, as soon as you hit those red blocks, that was it. The game reset. And a lot of people said they liked it because it was super challenging, and a lot of people said that it was too hard and they didn't like it. So what I did to compromise is I ended up having a health bar in the game. Now the health bar would give you a split second to basically maneuver off the block. It would still reset the level fairly fast, but it would give you enough time to react. So there was a little bit of leniency, and that seemed to help with getting more people to like the game. It wasn't too hard. It was still hard, don't get me wrong, but compared to what it was something that a lot more people were able to enjoy. Now another thing I did, which was kind of stupid for this game, and I have no idea why I did it, because to be honest it was probably harder doing this than actually making proper levels. But what I did is every time you completed the level, the game would just randomly select another level out of your map files list. So what I actually ended up doing for this game is making a kind of map editor so people could make their own maps. So not a lot of people knew about this, and I think it's just because I didn't really have anything about it, and it was kind of a weird way to make maps. Basically, there wasn't your conventional map editor where you could go around with a camera and just place blocks. It was a text editor, and different letters on the keyboard would represent different blocks. So I can't remember now, but like B, let's say, would represent the basic block that you could walk on. W would be the white walls, you know. R would be the rotating blocks. So depending on where these blocks were positioned in this array, it would spawn the level in like so. But I don't think anyone ever used it. There was very limited, yeah, there was just not many people that knew about that feature. But yeah, I mean, I'm always proud of everything I released. So this game, Escape This, I was very proud of it. Sure, it got more positives, got more negatives, sorry, than positives, but it was my first ever release. I learnt a lot about this game. If I never released Escape This, I probably don't think I would have released any other games to Steam. Let me just change this track because it is terrible. I don't know what it's on. I want to chill. Alright, there we go. But yeah, basically that's the story behind Escape This. Pretty basic stuff. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. So the second game that I ever released was Alien Hostage. And this game took me a bit longer to create, like, I don't know, 4 months maybe. I think I started working on this game before I did Escape This. But then I was like, you know, I kind of want to release a Steam game, so I ended up just making Escape This in a week, and then once I released it, I started working on this again. So there's not really much to say about this. This was my first early access experience. So when I released this game, I think I released it with something with like 20 levels, and I put it up as early access. There's not really much else to say about this game. It was probably the longest project I've ever made. I modeled everything. I did all the UI. UI isn't anything special really. But yeah, I think I ended up with something like 50 levels at the end of it. With like different wacky things that could stop your ship and different heights, more weapons. And then I did this space level that basically there was zero gravity, so it was a bit more challenging. But yeah, this was a fun project to make. I did enjoy making this one. And again, this game got a lot of harsh reviews, but this has also got more positive reviews. So I was getting better at creating games at this point. I was getting more positive than I was negative, and I was listening to the more constructive criticism. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. If it's something that could help improve the game, I will listen to it. If it's something that says your game is bad, what's that gonna? That's not gonna improve my game. Why should I listen to you? If it's a positive comment that says I really like this game, cool. I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm really happy you're enjoying my game. Makes me feel happy that people are enjoying it as well. So always listen to the guys that are actually giving you positive criticism. By positive, I mean, you know what I mean. Something that can help you build up the game. So there was a few things that caught my eye, both in the discussions and the reviews, and I think it was the barrels. If you were at a certain angle, that would clip the side of the UFO and would basically destroy you. So that was a simple fix. I basically just expanded the trigger that would collect the barrels. So that solved that problem. But yeah, other than that, there isn't much else to do. You can probably tell at this point that I like making games that are hard, that will make people rage. I don't know why, that's just something I like making. And then my third game is Flipped On. Now, I can't remember when my last update was. It might have been Halloween. I basically made this neon update for the game. But this was a really fun project to make. This was... I've messed around with like Unity's vehicle physics before, but this was like the first vehicle physics that I thought I did really well. Because if you guys have messed with Unity's vehicle physics, a lot of you will know that it's very finicky to get exactly what you want. And most of the time, it's probably better to get a pre-existing car off the asset store and then just put your own mesh over it, because it's already configured correctly. You don't need to mess around with a lot of things. When I first started this game, there was some weird things going on. The car was bouncing around, it was sliding, it took me so long to fine tune the wheel collider to make the car actually drive smoothly. So this was another pretty cool experience. I was going to make a level editor for this game, but I decided not to. I decided to just have it kind of like how Alien Hostage was and just leave it at that. One thing I forgot to mention, actually. Alien Hostage was the first game that, let's see here, that I actually made inventory items for. So let's see if it is. Here it is. So if you actually go into the Steam Community Market and then go into the games, my game Alien Hostage will be under there. And then here people have been selling and buying items. So I think one time was it this one? Maybe it won't let me see it now because I think it was last year that it happened. Yeah, I don't think I can actually go back on the graph here. But I think it was this Christmas hat. It ended up selling for like $20. I was like, that's pretty crazy that someone would actually be willing to pay $20 for an in-game item. An in-game item for one of my games. I thought that was pretty crazy. So yeah, this was basically the first experience with Steam Inventory. I was super happy with it. One thing that I wish Steam did though is host the images themselves, because right now all these images that you see here are actually on my web server. I'm not sure if Steam's changed that yet. I haven't actually gone into the Steam Inventory stuff for a while. But yeah, basically I had an accident with my website which ended up crashing the software and I couldn't really retrieve anything and I had to restart. And when it did do that, I didn't realize at the time, but I was really busy, so I couldn't actually get my site back up for months. And when I came back to it, I realized that all the images on Steam community and the inventory service here, they were just all broken images. And I was like, well, whoops, that's not very good. So yeah, as soon as I saw that, I just kind of dropped what I was doing and just went for it. I just had to fix it. So I did wish that Steam hosted their images themselves so that if something happens on my end, that the images would still work. Yeah, that was something really cool that I ended up learning. Flipped On, I was gonna do something like that. I was gonna do like silly car hats for Flipped On. But again, I decided that I just wanted to keep the game simple. I didn't want to keep it complex. It was a game to have a bit of fun with. It was a game to have a bit of a rage with. So yeah, I was Flipped On. I was really happy with this. I think out of all the games I've released so far, this is probably the game that I enjoyed the most playing as well as making. There's just something about the simplicity of this game that made me want to play it as a developer developing it. And again, all the models I made in this, all the models in this game I made. And I made all the models using this program right here. Where'd it go? Here it is. Called Magica Voxel. And it's actually a pretty cool program. You can basically just, let's see, I don't know, make something small and you can just draw around with it and make some cool models with it. You can even make some levels on here, you know, and then just bring them into Unity and scale them up, and then you got yourself some low poly levels. So this program was pretty cool. So if you're an indie developer and you don't really have the skills of modeling, then this is something that anyone can do, this program here. It's basically modeling with Minecraft style blocks, so something really, really easy to do. Okay, and so my fourth game is something that I recently released called Little World of Creatures. This game was my very first multiplayer release, and although I've done other multiplayer games, I haven't released any of them. This was the first game that I felt comfortable releasing. This was also when I first found PlayFab. And there wasn't any tutorials about PlayFab well, there were some on like logging in and all that, but when it came to like currencies and rewards and stuff like that, there was nothing on it. So I was really proud with how this turned out. This game is still only using the Photon 20 CCU starter pack, simply because it's not really getting that many players. If I go back and look at my PlayFab reports, I'll see that every now and then there'll be like 3 or 4 people playing. I'm not sure if they can interact with each other because I ended up making a region selection for this game. And I think it was, so the OCE region, US, UK and Asia, I think. So if they were all in different locations, they probably wouldn't have even found each other. So now that I think about it, when I had a game this small, I should have just made it one region, and as it grew, gave it region select. But it doesn't matter. It was still good fun making this. This was also the first time I actually ended up creating a Discord server for a game. And I got a few testers. We had a play. It was great fun developing this game. And this was the game that basically inspired me to be like, well, you know, there's not that many PlayFab videos. I should make some videos to help some people out, because that would have helped me out a great deal while I was making this game. So yeah, that's what I did, and then I met all you lovely people. So yeah, that's basically the experience I've had with Steam. This game only has 2 reviews, I think. Yeah, and I did a Halloween update for this as well. I was basically trying to make the page look active. When you post to Steam, it's always good that for the first couple of months to be active on your page. I don't think it'll show it now because it's old. Yeah. Basically make announcements on your game. Be active. I don't know. While I was creating these creatures, for example, I was saying stuff like new creatures coming soon, Halloween pumpkin, Halloween ghosts, stuff like that. Just stay active on the Steam page, pretend it's something like Twitter, and more people will stay and watch the game because they know it's active. Sadly though, when it comes to a multiplayer game, I did no advertising for this game other than the Discord server. I didn't do any tweets, but didn't let anyone know about this game. So when I released it, it was very minimal sales. I think in the first month of releasing this game, I sold about 50 units. And they weren't all at once, they were all spread out. So those people who purchased the game couldn't find anyone to play with, and so I think it was around 5% of those who purchased the game ended up refunding the game because there was no one on there to play. But what I ended up finding, which was interesting, is I met up with someone who actually purchased the game and enjoyed it, and what he was actually doing is basically setting up the game to play with friends. So at like a party or something, because it was so small, he was actually doing it like that, kind of Gang Beast style. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. But yeah, that's basically it on all 4 of my current published games. I do have some other games here and there that I've done for game jams, but I've forgotten the accounts that I published them under, so I can't really show you guys that. But yeah, it's been so long since I've actually participated in Ludum Dare. I don't know how to say it. Dare? I don't know. But I might do the next one that's coming up whenever that is. I think I might have actually missed it, so the next one after this, I'll probably end up doing. But I wanted to pitch an idea to you guys, and I want you to let me know if you would want me to do something like this. Back when I started game development, like as a proper hobby, not just learning, like I knew what I was doing, but I wanted to go beyond just making games for friends and family, right? I basically wanted a tutorial series, not so much a tutorial series, but like a demonstration of how to go about creating a game start to finish, from idea to end, idea to publishing the game. So here's what I want to suggest to you guys. I want to make a series on creating a game on a $150 budget. That $100 is going to be split aside. That's going to be the fee to put the game onto Steam. That $50 is going to be used for things like assets. I won't be buying any scripts. I will only be buying models, and I will be basically scripting in the videos. But I basically want to show how to go from idea, scripts, finding the models, and then at the very end, showing you guys how to create an account on Steam. I can't show you some parts because it's part of the toss on Steam. I'm not allowed to bring you into the panel, but I can show you how to get started. And then I can basically explain to you what to do after you've like done your tax forms and all of that for Steam. So that being said, if you do, you can release it on any platform you want, but if you do want to go via Steam, I believe you do need to be over, or 18 and over, or have a guardian to fill out the forms, because you do need to give them a bank account, and you do need to give them proof of identity. But on top of that, after the end of the whole series, I want to do a $150 giveaway to a random person in probably in the Discord server. And I basically want to I want to help them release their own game. So I will give them $150 and I will just help them step by step in releasing their own game. They will take that $100, put it aside for the Steam licensing, and then the $50 they can give me their ideas. I can help them find assets. I can give them a hand with scripts. I think it would be a pretty fun time. That being said, I'm just going to give you the 150. So if you don't want to do that and you just want the 150, that's completely fine. But if you want the option of working with me to create a game that's published through Steam that could make a bigger return than $150, then it would be so good to just team up with one of you. I'll pay for the 150. That's what you win if basically randomly selected in the Discord server, if you're active. I should mention that. If you do want to go with Steam though, you will need to be 18 or over. So I will have to put that out there as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that, and hopefully you guys like the idea, because I'm actually pretty hyped on it, and would love to do it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, a little bit of a different video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.